Hey, this is Kat of Kattalestv. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm not in Vegas. And actually, I'm glad I'm not in Vegas anymore because I saw the melee on the internet last night. I was asleep. If you don't tell, or can't tell, I have congestion, either a flu or a cold. I've been traveling mostly all summer, working very, very hard and trying to live my life instead of having my life on hold, which it has been for 4 years. I'll get into that later. But while I was in Vegas, I did see Conor before and after the workout, and I saw Khabib's SUV, but I'd never really saw Khabib. But I did speak to Robin Black MMA, and we talked about the psychological warfare that Conor was using leading up to the fight. And I think that's something that needs to be talked about more in regards to the escalation of violence and anger that has been going on between Khabib's camp and Conor's camp. But I want to remind you, if you don't follow me on Twitter, at Kattalestv, I mentioned this a long time ago, and also I did a video with Stallone talking about Conor a long time ago in regards to Nate Diaz. And Stallone was saying to me in that video that, that's what fighters do. They talk trash. But to me, at the time when Conor was talking trash about Nate Diaz doing charity work for the elderly and young kids who are possibly at risk, joining gangs or low income and other things like that, for a man to make fun of a person doing good deeds to other people, I felt like that was way overboard and out of line. And I said that then, and that was 2 years ago, and we go on and on and on to now. Before the fight, Radio City Music Hall, that presser, Conor was talking about Khabib's dad, talking about having Chetnian people teach him how to beat him, making fun of his religion, insulting him as a man. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And, this is a lot about ignorance. It kind of reminds me of like Jake Paul in a weird way when he made fun of the forest where Japanese people went to go to commit suicide, and there was a person that was actually hanging, and he made some joke. It's like that callousness, that, can I say white privilege, where you think you can get away with anything and there's no consequences. And I think that's exactly what Conor has done and has been trying to get away with. Boston and Ireland are very similar in mindset. There's a lot of kind of chauvinism, a lot of kind of tepid racism that underlies a lot of things. Or let's say tribalism, whatever word you want to use to excuse people's foul behavior. But as martial artists, as true martial artists, I think that certain things should be off the table. If you're going to fight. You don't need to insult someone's dad. You don't need to insult someone's religion. You don't need to sit there and say you're going to push your proper Irish whiskey on the floor of the fight and also push it to him to drink. It was so grossly obnoxious. And, people don't talk about that. They're like, some of these fools are talking about Khabib could be stripped from his title and that he had no business jumping over the fence. And it's like the whole picture isn't really seen properly. Don't forget, Conor attacked a bus with lots of people on it and injured people and threw that metal object at the window. And he got off. He got off. Conor made so much money for the UFC and he was so important. Everyone bent rules for him to get a plea deal. Now, just so you understand where I'm coming from, I haven't really talked about this for you UFC people that watch my videos, but like 4 years ago, I was attacked and assaulted by a gang of people, and one of them was Cat Williams under the, under the tutelage of Suge Knight. So I was chased down the street in Beverly Hills, where I normally work, at 4:30 in the afternoon in front of a large crowd at a restaurant. I was grabbed, I was spun around, my head hit a wall on a building. I passed out for a second because I didn't remember my head hitting the wall. But in subsequent surveillance video that was shown in court, I was told that, that's what happened. So I was walking around with a concussion. I was made fun of. TMZ helped push Cat Williams and Suge Knight's propaganda against me, etc., etc. I was in extreme pain. One of my fingers pulled out of socket. There's other things that happen after being assaulted. They stole my camera as well. So I tried to act like everything was fine, but I wasn't. And a lot of things happened after that was just a tsunami of just garbage. So what I want to let you know is sometimes people use sports entertainment to not focus on their problems, and when I started really getting into the UFC, Conor, I thought was very interesting when he first was coming up. I thought he was cocky, I thought he was talented, I liked his accent, there was musicality in his voice. I saw that this person is going to be a major, major star. He kind of reminded me of Bruce Lee. But where he doesn't pass the buck with Bruce Lee was an honorable man. He didn't really insult people and their religion and certain things that were very, very important to them. He would insult them with his talent. You understand what I'm saying? So he's not in the same category as Bruce at all. Conor is very, very talented. He's a very good businessman in regards to marketing and in regards to showmanship. But as an honorable fighter, class martial artist, I don't think he doesn't have what it takes. He's more of a hooligan. A hooligan that got a lot of money and is enjoying his money and his power, but he took it too far. And reference to Khabib, when I met him 8 months ago in Boston, I like to tell you the story because I sound like one of those crazy old folks. I walked through snow, it was cold, my body, by the way, when my hands were damaged in this assault thing, so cold, extreme cold is extremely painful for me, and also extreme heat. So I was like walking through snow to get to some location where he was doing this promotion for Metro PCS, because I took a bus and the subway, and a long story short, the bus stop was far away from the location, so I had to walk through snow. A little bit of snow, but it was cold as hell in Boston. But anyway, I met him, I watched him, I saw how he treated people. He's a very kind, humble man, very disciplined. But when I looked in his eyes, I was like, man, this dude's a freaking killer. And there was no question, there was no denial of it. But I'm around a lot of different types of people, a lot of like what some people call A-listers, or a lot of very successful people. I've never met a person with that kind of, he's got an innate power, like it is probably similar to what a Bruce Lee has, or someone who's very, very focused and very, very, like, disciplined and grounded. But Khabib didn't deserve to be insulted in so many ways. And whether you guys want to talk about it or not, the UFC is very unfair to people that don't fit a certain type. They promote a certain type. They like their, you're gonna, whatever, like it or not, they like their types more so than others. And yeah, people go, well, yeah, you're talking about racism. What about John Jones, or whatever the hell his name is? It's like, they like guys that are really powerful and make a lot of money. I get that. But when I'm talking about in reference to the echelon of the people making the most money, the Ronda Rouseys and the Conor McGregors, there's a certain type. And they're able to get away with a lot of stuff that no one else gets away with. And it's so funny that the two people that Dana White gave everything to fucked up royally. Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor. Now, honestly, I don't see how Conor can come back to the UFC and fight someone else. I don't think he can ever be Khabib, ever. Sorry. Don't see that happening. And, you know, Conor has a cult following. Conor reminds me in a weird way of, like, the power of someone that leads you in the wrong direction, but you want to believe in them anyway because they're magical. So a lot of people are in his camp no matter what, ride or die. They don't see anything bad that he did. They don't want to remember the fact about the Dolly incident. They don't want to talk about how he grabs people when he's losing the fight, like he did in Mayweather, like he did in Khabib, you know, and like all the shady things that he does. They don't want to talk about it. They want to ignore it. They want to focus on, like, Khabib jumping the fence and all this other things. I'm not saying those aren't real, but look at how Dana treated Conor better than Khabib leading up to the fight. Look about how Conor is paid more than anyone else, and I know he brings money into the UFC, but how much money is he going to bring to the UFC now that he's lost, like, what, 2 in a row? Is it 2 in a row he lost, or 1 in a row? Well, he lost 2 in a row in reference to Mayweather and Khabib, but before the Mayweather fight, I guess he might have won the last fight. Yeah, I guess he did. But regardless of which, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting road for Conor, what happens next. It's going to be an interesting road what happens to Dana next, too, because his prime meal ticket, Conor, is going to be out for a while. Now, if they try to punish Khabib and say he can't get a visa, then that's just cheating, which they might just do because that's privilege right there, you know. I don't think there's anybody that can beat Khabib in the near future. And if he fights GSP, that's going to be a huge fight. I don't necessarily want to see that fight, but that's the only thing that could possibly save the UFC. And also Tony Ferguson, because Tony Ferguson is crazy. That will be a crazy-ass fight. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be so... I was living in a fantasy world for the last couple of months, or let's say a couple of years, to get away from the actual pain that I was going through. And I was distracted by doing some stories on the UFC, you know, to take my focus away from my own problems. So I'll be doing stories about stuff that I care about, but things are gonna change, and that's another reason why I said before, when Conor threw that thing, that metal object at that bus, I was really heartbroken because I can't, like, be on the side of someone who likes to assault innocent people, because it happened to me. And then I know how hard it is if you actually press charges to be taken seriously and to get any remote type of justice. People make fun of you and they dismiss you, and it's extremely painful emotionally. So like I said, you know, Conor and his antics are not cool, but I wish him all the luck. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be just fine, because the way things are going in this world right now, if you do bad things, you get rewarded. If you try to live your life and work and, like, avoid conflict, which I actually try to do, and you keep moving away when people attack you, it's like I lose, or the person that keeps making adjustments loses. And sometimes you just have to put your feet straight down on the ground and knock a motherfucker out because they keep fucking with you. And it's so funny, being a woman, people don't take, I guess, our anger and our pain seriously, and they don't take our, us fighting back seriously. They always think of it as weaker sex or whatever, and I think that's bullshit. But all I'm trying to do is work. And it's amazing how many people have tried to stop me or impede me. And it's not, I don't know how to stop this. I don't know, all I can do is try to move forward. But I want to say this too again. Even leading up to the fight, Conor was given every effing advantage. Going into the Radio City Music Hall, most of the fans did not know that Khabib went to the other side. While I was in New York, I actually did try to photograph Khabib, but I never knew where he was. Conor was closer to where I was in New York, so that's why I shot him. So people who look at my videos go, "Oh my God, you're following Conor around." It's like I was following a UFC story. That's the other funny thing is people see me and they don't think I'm working, like because I dress nice, whatever, and they just think I'm like a tourist, whatever, which is fine. However, if you see my camera in my hand, I'm working. And I don't want to be chatted up. I don't want to be messed with. I'm doing my job. A lot of my pictures in major magazines all over the world. A lot of you guys don't know that because you see the videos. But my main thing that I do is actually still photography. And I don't put it all over my social media on Instagram. Because my stuff's copywritten and then people steal stuff. So I have to put logos all the way through stuff. And people get mad at me for putting logos through my videos. But you don't understand. People slice my videos into sections to have pictures. So that's why I put logo Kattalestv all the way through. Anyway, like I said, I love doing what I love to do. I just don't want people messing with me and lying about what I do and harassing me and assaulting me for doing my job. So, I hope that explains a couple of things. I don't know where I'm gonna be. America's very interesting right now. And I got into a lot of conversations over the summer with different people from all over the world. And I'm gonna share a couple of videos about that. And also, I'll be talking about more personal things that have affected me over the last 4 years. So I might be splitting that into another YouTube channel because you guys don't necessarily want to hear about what stress does to the body and how it can manifest in tumors and other issues, probably. The guys that normally watch my regular YouTube channel, it's now 96% men. And which is great, I guess, but the only way I want to keep doing this is that if we're actually learning something and growing. If people are still on a lower vibration of just being violent a-holes and thugs and misogynists, I don't want to promote that at all. I want us to do better. I want us to have a better communication and solve some of our issues like the rape culture that we have and disrespecting women. Let me just tell you this. Was it last year or the year before? When I think it was like the beginning of the Me Too movement. I remember Kavanaugh, one of Conor's coaches, he retweeted something a guy said when it was a women's march, sorry. The women's march, he said, this guy made some crack about what are we going to do with all these women marching all over the world? And then this guy said, who's going to make our sandwiches? And it's just like, that's just the kind of lame ass attitude that a person has to put up with. I know you guys think it's funny, but if you really love women and respect women, you don't want them violated, you don't want them raped, you don't want them assaulted by any man or any person. So that kind of ignorant frat boy obnoxious drunk chatter is not cool. So I hope this video helped a little bit, and thanks for watching Kattalestv. Subscribe, watch other videos, Buy my merchandise on Redbubble. I need money, y'all. I need to find a place to live. But thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.